Good afternoon, everyone. I'm with the Slammer Racing Program at University of Florida. My name is Eric Chavez, and today I'm here with
Fouzia Almarou.
All right. Say your name again, please. I'm sorry.
Fouzia Almarou.
And who you're with?
My baby son, Zion Ali Washington.
And I guess today we're in DC because why are we in DC here?
I'm in DC because I'm trying to get justice for my son, Kenneth Ross Jr. I'm here at a protest with Say Their Names LA. Came out here from Los Angeles, and I'm here to tell my story so my son's story can be told and people know who he is and what happened to my son, and for other families also to get justice for their families and know who their children are.
May you tell me more about Kenneth as a person?
Oh, there's so much to tell. Kenneth is my eldest son out of 6 children. My firstborn son. I had him when I was 18, and we basically grew up together. So he's very funny, he's smart. The best quality about my son is he's very loving and kind, and he treats me with the most let me really rephrase it. He treats me like a queen that I am. He treats me like a queen, and his siblings, there's nothing he wouldn't do for them. So he's been taking care of me, and he's always been there for me, and he's just been the best son that anyone could ever ask for. Just a great, great young man.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say this, but just what happened, the accident, the tragedy of...
So this happened on April 11th, 2018.
Yeah.
It happened in a park around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Someone had contacted the police about an altercation that occurred. A bunch of police came. My son got scared. Of course, you see a bunch of police. He ran, and one particular officer by the name of Michael Robbins from Gardena Police Department shot Kenneth with an AR-15 military assault weapon in his back. And they claim that, Kenneth had a gun. It took me a year and a half to even get the video, which is out on YouTube. And they never retrieved the gun. They said they found one in an ambulance. So don't you think if you thought someone had a gun, that's why you said you murdered them, that you would go straight to look at him while he's laying on the ground for a gun? Well, they didn't find nothing in his pockets or nothing on him. They found an ambulance, so it was a cover-up and a setup. And the gentleman said, this is going to be a good one. And they murdered my boy. Yeah, they murdered my boy at a park. And when this happened, they even handcuffed him after he was already deceased. It's really sickening.
Okay.
It's really sickening.
Just explain more about the accountability, if there's any at all, for the murder.
Jackie Lacey was the district attorney. I work also with a different organization like Black Lives Matter, and we got Jackie Lacey out of there. So basically now there's 800, I believe, people, but over 600 people have been murdered of color, and no one has been prosecuted. So now that Jackie Lacey is not in office anymore, Gascon is in office, and they're trying to reopen some cases. But I'll tell you another story about Gascon, because I went all the way out to get rid of Jackie Lacey and did protesting for 3 years and made my son's name, be known in Los Angeles. Now, because he is doing the things he said he would do with the jail reform and letting people out of jail that's been there for, years that need to come out, and, stating that he will open these cases, they're turning against him too to get him out of there because of what he's doing. So that's taking up, now that's a longer process. So I'm gonna always fight the fight. That's what I do, is I fight. And it's my eldest son. I will never stop fighting for him, and I will get justice no matter what it takes, to go to Supreme Court, whatever I need to do to get justice for my boy, because what they did is they murdered him in cold blood.
I guess, may you explain more about the loss of Kenneth and your family? And
the loss of Kenneth is unbearable to this day. It's been over 3 years. If it wasn't for my baby son right here and God, I wouldn't be here talking to you on this interview right now. I literally, it took something from me and out of me, and I'll never be the same. My heart being broke is an understatement of what I go through every day. I'll never see my baby again, and he's the love of my life. I grew up with him, and they murdered him when he was 25 years old, and he also left behind a grandson that's the same age as my baby boy, and now he does not have a father. So yes, it's did damage. He has 4 other sisters. It's very, everyone, it tore up our whole family.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much. What about you personally? Has it affected you, like, through changes?
Well, how it's affected me, for one, is, like I just said, I'm a very strong-willed person. I always have been. And I walk with God spiritually, and that's why I'm here speaking with you. But if you're asking me how I feel every day, not good. Every day I wake up, I don't have my son, knowing he was murdered by a white racist cop. And there was no accountability, because at the time Jackie Lacey was in office, they chose not to prosecute like 800 other cases. So I must go on, and I must fight for Kenneth, and I must continue to be strong to help other families and help this from happening to even other people, because this situation right here with the police killing everyone and no one doing anything about it, there needs to be change, and it needs to be stopped. They have a bill that's passing through, SB 2, and it's in the name of my son, Kenneth Ross Jr. Decertification bill. There's one more step that needs to go, and it will be passed. And what that means is the officer that shot my son had murdered 3 other people already before. So that being said, this bill will be so the cop cannot just kill someone else, get fired, and then go to another place and get hired by another police department.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Any last words you want to say to this interview, or voice feedback?
Well, I appreciate you coming out here, you know, hearing my story, then of course sharing my story. And you know, I'm happy to come all the way to Washington, D.C. and see all the other families out here fighting to get justice, because it's about to continue the fight to get justice for our family members and our children. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. When you say his name again?
Kenneth Ross Jr.
Thank you so much. Justice for Kenneth.
Justice for Kenneth. Thank you.
Okay, so you want to